Denise,
Uh,
let's
And-
let everybody know what's been going on.
Oh, so much.
Exactly.
It's in Sacramento. Sacramento wants to take our herb and create an elite cannabis oligarchy with a Senate bill by a senator who is about to be termed out,
Lou
Correa,
Correa.
and Amiano, who's also terming out. He was the assembly member, and he didn't get it through the assembly, so he tried to get it through the Senate instead.
In case anybody is unaware, Senator Correa is a Democrat from Santa Ana.
Yeah, and it failed. The bill failed last week, thanks in large part to patients like us.
Patients for Compassionate Use Policy. Where you peak up.
Yes, I've got that. This would have created a black market, really. It would have created a larger black market. It would have made, for all intents and purposes, made the herb illegal again. They call this the Wild West right now, the way the laws are with SB 420 and Prop 215. They call it the Wild West. It was a Wild West situation. So that was a quotation by, well, you've got the article.
Yes, I do.
Yes, and Shona will be talking about the article. She's mentioned in it, isn't she?
I did not see Shona's name anywhere in this article from last week after the bill was killed.
So these are some of the topics we're going to cover tonight. However, I'm going to go through Twitter first. We want to pick up some followers as well. Every time I do this show, I pick up about 5 or 10 followers, so that's great.
So our user Twitter names are on the bottom of the screen. As you can see, Denise Dorey, first and last name. Perfect on the screen, Denise.
And we have Berkeley residents divided over the free medical marijuana program, and the Senator marijuana sanction bill brought down by pot advocates, Patients for Compassionate Use Policies, hashtag, I know it's a long hashtag, and Axis of Love SF, which is the club we both belong to. We rocked it. We've been working on policy for at least a decade, and we don't want recognition, we just want to make some positive changes. 12 things white people can do now because of Ferguson. That article can be found on my Twitter, and it's very informative. And there's more than 12 things we can do for white people can do about the Ferguson situation and the whole situation surrounding it, which has been going on for a long time. Uruguay country will issue government-approved Monsanto strains and clones. Non-government marijuana is still illegal. So that means that if you have a seeds or a non-government clone, you can still be arrested. So that's creating another black market situation.
I love your quote.
If opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. I love Milton Berle. I grew up listening to his humor.
Another favorite quote of mine is from Felix Baumgartner. The only limit you set is the one you set yourself.
Exactly. Patient, I came, I saw, I conquered, I am. I think how, therefore I am. Patients for Compassionate Use Policies, that we were at the California State Building on the 12th. So I had to put up that video so we could prove that we were there, because there are people trying to say that they did this. So we wanted to oppose the industry 1% power grab to dismantle Prop 215 and SB 420. And it, just the way we wanted, the bill was tabled. It's going to have to come up next session later. So, and plus there's a ballot initiative in 2016, and maybe the feds will do something by then too. Bid to regulate medical marijuana in California fizzles. That's another tweet. It's an Examiner article, which is pretty good. Another fearmonger conservative looking to make inroads in San Francisco, Rupert Murdoch, yes. He wants to take over the media.
Yes, he does. Another monopoly of the media system. And
our topic last week was very good. You can see all of our SFLiberalBuzz archives on Twitter.
And a great screenshot of the back of my head.
Yes.
You can see how long my hair's gotten.
And ALEC is concerned, American Legislative Exchange Council is concerned about corruption. Us, common people, being corrupt and not liking them. That's basically what it is.
Corruption falls on both sides of the table.
Well, that's an opinion piece. Ignorant sycophants cannot value liberty or freedom while supporting cannabis prohibition, smoking Camels, and drinking Jack Daniels.
What about vodka, tequila?
See, the American Legislative Exchange, back to this, we can have a debate about this. They're concerned about corruption and they're the ones who are corrupt. You know, they really are. They run the government. We've got money out of politics, and ALEC will lose their power. They have too much power, and they're abusing it. And that's obvious. Ignorant sycophants cannot value liberty or freedom while supporting cannabis prohibition, drinking camels and smoking camels and drinking Jack Daniels. So I thought that was funny. Cannabinoids as antioxidants and neuroprotectants. So that every week I'm finding new things that cannabis does. Cannabis just never seems to cease to amaze me. And the American people are very progressive. It's just the media that isn't, because they're owned by interests that represent about 25% of the public opinion. The rest of our public opinion is getting more and more progressive. And federal marijuana bill would legalize some cannabis strains, so that's prohibiting others. That's still criminalization and still creating a black market. And Rupert Murdoch pushed Australia into a climate change retreat. Now, when I was in Australia, I noticed their media was quite whitewashed. It was just it was unreal. I watched 75% of their programming was influenced by him. When I got back to America and I heard about Rupert Murdoch and the Occupy movement made it more obvious, and I realized, yes, that's what was wrong with their media, and it's like a cancer. It's spreading to ours. So Rupert Murdoch is more a voice for a conservative movement. He wants to make everyone think that drug companies are great, you know, stuff like that. So I want to get to Eli now. I've taken up my time. So let's get to you.
Okay, my turn.
Yay!
Let's see. What have I been tweeting about lately? Well, some very interesting things have been going on in the world, of course. Everybody is aware about the Ice Bucket Challenge for ALS and other various entities and the charities. Well, Carrie Byron of Mythbusters decided something else. If you watch Mythbusters, she has decided to donate an autographed outfit that she wore on her show. So it's a very good cause as well. And, sorry, close the screen before I got a chance to find how much she was actually going for. There's also a couple of hundred interesting facts to make you go, huh? This one right here, I actually wanted to show you guys because this is very interesting. About homelessness. Did you know that there are more vacant houses than homeless people in the United States?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
6 for everyone. 6 homes for every homeless person.
And I had to get into the Ferguson argument here. Argument in Ferguson is one-sided. If Ferguson really is racially discriminated, why is there no statement from a white, Hispanic, Asian resident of Ferguson? Every news system that has been covering this, they always have a statement from somebody who's a Ferguson resident. But this person happens to have black skin. I'm curious because recently this police officer here, if you remember, was caught pointing a gun at unarmed protesters, and it was caught on video.
I saw it.
Well, good thing this officer here was
semi-automatic weapon. It was.
This officer was now suspended, so
without pay.
Exactly, because I want to know is Ferguson really racially discriminated, or is it actually police tactics? Because I have yet to hear somebody with white skin, black, Hispanic, Asian, who lives in Ferguson, to give their actual opinion of what's it like in that town. That's why I have to tweet this. It's one-sided. Every single media network that's covering this is not talking to any white residents, Hispanic residents, Asian residents. They live there. Black people are not the only people who live in Ferguson. Speaking of disproportionate people, if you happen to go to 26th Street between 3150 and 3154, renters are facing wrongful evictions again in this city. Yes.
Yes, they are.
Again. And yes, I am going to put this on television right here. The landlord's phone number is located in this ad in this story right here as well. Or you can call Maldonado directly if you want to get more involved in this anti-eviction movement here. Landlord's phone number is 415-665-4714. Call, complain, tell them to stop displacing people who have been living in their units for years and years and years. Life in the Tenderloin looks rough even in cartoon form. It's about a 40-minute video cartoon. I'm not going to show this cartoon.
Oh, they're putting us on blast again, huh?
Yeah, I'm not going to show this cartoon. If you're interested about this, you can see for yourself.
I like the Tenderloin. I wouldn't live anywhere else.
Is California in a drought? KTV covered this story right here, and I could not find the actual video. Oh,
Well, Nestle is still
as you
bombing
can
water.
see, January 13th, you can see the Sierras. Right here, all ice. Now it's all melted. There's this great picture of this dam that was up here that's now dry. Yeah. Speaking of a dry dam, how about Chicago last night against the Giants?
They're getting all of our rainwater.
Yeah, water polo anyone?
They're getting all the rainwater because the ice caps are gone. So the West Coast would be the first ones to notice, and I predicted that back in 2007 that the West Coast was going to be the first ones to notice that the ice cap was gone. Because I've lived on the West Coast, and you see the weather patterns and how they are. And with the only storms we're going to get are Hawaiian storms now.
Yeah, people are still complaining, saying that climate change is a myth. Climate change is not a myth. It's real. You know why I say climate change is real? We have summer, winter, fall, spring. That's called climate change. Advanced climate change is what is happening to the environment today. We have ice sheets melting. We have flooding. August 18th, a CNN reporter gave away some information about Darren Wilson, the officer who allegedly shot Mr. Brown. He gave information on how to get to his house, his name, what he looked like, basically releasing private information without the authorization. This is unethical for a reporter, period. I accidentally tweeted that twice. Oops, about the cartoon. San Jose efforts. There is a homeless group called the Jungle. The people have nicknamed that. San Jose says, hey, we're tired of seeing homeless people. Let's get them out of here, somewhere else. More NIMBYs are saying, homeless people, not in my backyard. Well, the only solution to homelessness is a home. More and more people are not even realizing that, hey, you're one paycheck away from becoming homeless yourself. Everyone is, thanks to this economy now.
Outsourcing most of our jobs.
Yeah, people want
If
to
you
go
don't
to
want-
Texas and
if
to
you don't-
California, China, India.
Staring at a screen is, if you don't do that, all the manufacturing and a lot of the labor jobs are going. You can't outsource building.
Speaking of outsourcing, here's one of the most popular countries in the world, India. And yes, a lot of American jobs are outsourced to India and Asia as well. This is back to last week's Twitter feed, and that's my Twitter page.
Swap places
So,
again.
yeah, let's play some musical chairs without music. Okay,
So Shona was going to bring up, as she's a cannabis patient, just like we are, so she may not feel too hot. So I was going to play a video of her and what she had to say about the patient movement and our resistance to having only a few industrial grows allowed, and having a lot of people shut out of the process, and they were going to make the process retroactive to where if you didn't apply for a permit in June, which already passed, you're out by January, you're illegal. So that's pretty.
Yeah, Shona explains this well. Let's let the viewers hear how Shona did this.
Yeah, she made us.
And that was Shona.
Yes. We're back on?
Yes.
Yes, we,
Oh, here we go. There we go. Okay, now we're back on.
I wanted to tell you, I was at the California State Building on Golden Gate, and Eli went to Sacramento prior to that, and there's more videos on it can be found on our Twitter about what the lawmakers had to say, because we didn't get to talk to the lawmakers here at the state building here in San Francisco. They barred cameras. So all I can tell you is they were very sympathetic to our causes. They sounded much nicer. They were much nicer to us here in San Francisco than they were to you in Sacramento. All the guy could do was fold his arms like this, you know, in the I'm gonna say no or kind of body language, and the lawmaker just stood there and said, "You're not gonna like the new changes." But anyway, the bill went nowhere.
Yeah, just like the article
Yes.
last week, in case anybody's aware of this, marijuana advocates hailed the bill's failure, woohoo, saying that the regulations were too confusing and too onerous, and it would encourage cannabis purveyors to go underground, which means independent growers would no longer be able to grow affordably. You have to need a license to transport, you need a license to cook, to give compassion, to open a store. This is up to $8,000 per license. And it was going to be regulated by guess who? The State Department of Alcohol Beverage Control licensed bars and liquor stores. Basically, alcohol, beverage, and tobacco. Marijuana, cannabis is not alcohol. It's not tobacco. These are drugs, addictive substances. I guess I'm addicted to nicotine myself, and I understand that, but cannabis has been regulated and medically tested to be a non-addictive substance.
It's not even carcinogenic. So it would create a black market. Now I mentioned Uruguay and their Monsanto. They're going to have more criminalization. Now there's going to be ballot initiatives in 2016 we're talking about, and with Amiano and Correa turned out, and if we can get David Campos in and talk and write him letters.
Or David Chu, who's also running.
Yeah, and David Chu.
The top progressive candidates.
Yes, one of the two will be our next assembly member, and I urge you to support the one you like. So, since now, what was bad about SB 1262, besides not being able to grow, was the fact that we would lose a lot of diversity in the strains. We wouldn't have small growers which come up with the best strains and the best product. And if you had huge industrial growers, you would lose out on quality, and you wouldn't have designer stuff.
Because certain patients require certain amounts of CBN or CBD within their medical cannabis strain.
Yes.
Because certain amounts of CBD and CBN regulate either your blood pressure or muscle spasms, help regulate muscle spasms. It depends on the actual strain itself.
Yes, and some strains actually promote sleep. Some
correct.
strains make you
Stay awake.
Big time. I mean, it's like coffee, and it doesn't diminish the awareness whatsoever.
That's why everybody's metabolism is different.
And that too. So we need lawmakers that care about poor patients. I urge you to support any lawmaker and talk to your lawmaker. How do you feel about poor cannabis patients receiving a certain small percentage of medicine like Berkeley? That's what we need. And now there's people in Berkeley, neighbors associations and police group, neighborhood groups and police, all kind of against this free cannabis programs. They were afraid it's going to be redistributed and so forth.
This is why San Francisco is greater than Sacramento, because the majority of the supervisors have open office hours at least once a month.
Yeah.
Whatever your district is, you can call your local supervisor and ask when their open office hours is and visit them. For instance, Supervisor Jane Kim's open office hours is the first Friday of the month. And then, of course, that changes with holidays and vacation time.
So the next SFLiberalBuzz will be on September the 4th at 6 p.m. And we can watch Axis of Love. That show can be seen Fridays at 6 p.m. on Channel 29, our sister station here at Bayvac. And Bayvac is a great station. I urge you to support them any way you can. Buy a street sheet. Great reading, intelligent reporting. I urge you to buy one and give generously to the person selling them. They get to keep the money. And the shelterpetproject.org, visit them, there's animals, cats and dogs and other animals waiting for you right now.